Replacing an AC blower motor is not just a matter of moving wires from an old motor to a new one. A motor can fit the bracket and still rotate the wrong way, place the wheel in the wrong axial position, use the wrong capacitor, overload at the real system pressure, or rub only after the housing is reinstalled. This guide follows the complete evidence chain from diagnosis to commissioning. It also draws a firm safety boundary. HVAC equipment contains hazardous mains voltage, stored electrical energy, sharp sheet metal and rotating parts. Follow the unit wiring diagram and service manual. Lock out every energy source, verify isolation, and use a qualified HVAC or electrical technician wherever law, training or equipment condition requires one. First, prove that the motor is actually the failed part. A dirty filter, blocked coil, jammed wheel, failed relay, damaged control board, open winding, weak run capacitor, low supply voltage or incorrect speed command can produce similar symptoms. Identify whether the unit uses a permanent split capacitor motor, an electronically commutated motor, or another architecture. Measure only with instruments and procedures appropriate to the equipment. Do not buy a motor from symptoms alone. Before removing anything, build a replacement passport. Photograph the motor nameplate, unit data plate, wiring diagram, connector positions, and the complete blower assembly. Record voltage, phase, frequency, rated power or horsepower, full load current, rated speed, duty, thermal protection, frame and mounting style. Measure motor diameter, shaft diameter, usable shaft length, bracket offsets, and connector clearance. Record rotation from the viewing direction defined by the manufacturer. For a capacitor-run motor, record the specified capacitance and voltage rating. Mark the wheel's axial position on the shaft and note which side faces the inlet. Wire color is not a universal standard, the equipment diagram is the authority. Now create the safe work state. Stop the unit normally, open the correct disconnect, apply lockout and tagout, release or control stored energy as the manufacturer directs, and verify de-energization with an appropriate test method. A start command alone does not prove zero voltage. Do not discharge a capacitor by casually shorting its terminals. If the service procedure calls for capacitor testing or discharge, use the specified rated method in qualified personnel. Recheck for multiple feeds, accessories, and control circuits before touching conductors. With isolation verified, photograph and label every conductor before disconnecting it. Protect loose terminals from damage. Reconcile every label against the exact unit wiring diagram and the replacement motor instructions. Wire color alone is never proof of terminal function. Remove the blower deck or housing in the sequence specified by the unit manufacturer. Support the assembly. Sheet metal edges and an unbalanced wheel can injure hands or damage bearings. Mark the wheel-to-shaft position before loosening the hub. Hold the wheel while the motor is removed so its weight does not bend the backplate or inlet cone. Do not disturb balance weights. Inspect the wheel, hub, set screw, mounting arms, isolators, and housing before installing the replacement. A cracked hub, bent wheel, loose balance weight, or distorted mount can recreate noise and vibration with a healthy motor. Clean accessible buildup without changing wheel geometry. The replacement must match the electrical supply, control method, power, speed range, duty, rotation capability, thermal protection, shaft, frame, and mounting interfaces. A capacitor-run replacement also needs the exact capacitor value and voltage class specified for that motor. An old or incompatible capacitor is not a harmless shortcut. Install the motor and bracket without preloading or twisting the isolators. Set rotation according to the motor and unit instructions, not by guessing from lead colors. Return the wheel to the documented axial position. Center it relative to the inlet and end plates, maintain the specified clearances, and place the hub set screw on the shaft flat when the manufacturer requires it. Tighten fasteners to the specified torque. Route conductors away from the wheel, sharp edges and hot surfaces, and reinstall strain reliefs, guards, and access panels. Before any power is restored, rotate the wheel by hand while the equipment remains isolated. It should complete several turns without scraping, binding, or changing clearance. Confirm that the wheel, hub, shaft, and housing remain concentric. Check every labeled wire against the unit diagram and the replacement motor instructions. Confirm that no tool, loose fastener, or temporary label can enter the rotating assembly. Testing requires a controlled re-energization sequence. Clear people and tools, restore guards and panels, remove lockout only under the site's authorized procedure, and energize for the required test. If further adjustment is needed, de-energize and reapply lockout before reopening the equipment. Never defeat a door switch or safety interlock merely to make testing convenient. At startup, verify rotation and airflow direction immediately. Stop if the wheel runs backward, rubs, oscillates, or accelerates abnormally. Measure supply voltage and running current, then compare current with the motor nameplate under the actual installed load. Verify the commanded speeds or control signal where applicable. Check vibration, sound, bearing and motor temperature trend, and airflow or pressure at the unit. A motor that spins is not yet a successful replacement. It must operate within electrical, mechanical, and airflow limits. The release record should contain the old and new motor data, capacitor data where applicable, wiring photos, rotation reference, wheel position, clearances, fastener checks, voltage, running current, vibration or sound observation, airflow result and the restored safety devices. That record turns a one-time repair into evidence the next technician can trust. If you need an OEM blower or motor replacement review, send the nameplates, wiring diagram, required airflow and pressure, voltage and control, and installation dimensions to Longwell.